Okay, so my two new Seikos have arrived. They've been here for about 4 hours, but I haven't had a chance to open them up because I've had some guests around, so it's only now that I've had time. So I'll get them open and show you what I've got. So I'm not sure which one this is because I ordered two. One is the Monster and one is the Prospex GMT. So I'm not sure which is which, so I'm just going to open this one up first and see which one comes out. I think this is the Prospex. It seems to be the right sort of size box for it. Let's take it all out, I think. Ah. And there we have it. Let's take it out of the plastic. I've got it on the rubber. It's actually not too bad. I wasn't sure what colour to get. Originally I was going to get the all white. Then I looked at the is it purple or blue that they have here, but I decided to go for this one instead. But I'll see how it gets on. Okay, so stay tuned for the rest of the review. So this is the GMT Prospex Kinetic divers. Now it's 200 meters water resistant. I'll have to go into more in depth with it. I've just opened it up and I wanted to give it like a first impression. I do like it. I was saying at the beginning that I wasn't quite sure about what color to get, whether or not to get the white one. I did like, to be honest, I did like the whole white. Like I thought it'd be too much like this. It'd just be a bigger version of this, even though it's a GMT. Let me just move them closer. Yeah. So that's why I went for the yellow and blue. And there was another color. I think it's an orange. You've got orange there. I'm not too happy with the bezel, to be honest. You see, it's very stiff, and it's not that easy. They've sort of protected it with these, but to get a good grip of it, you know, it seems to be kind of slipping in my fingers. And you put that up against this, and you can hear the difference. But this is just so easy to turn, and then even yeah, you know, I have to say. So you're literally just gripping half of the bezel, so you're not really, you have to sort of put a bit more effort into turning it than the other two. They're a lot easier to turn, but it is actually loosening up as I'm turning it, so it is a bit easier. It does look like it stopped, but this is straight out of the box, and if I press this, it starts. So it's a quartz kinetic movement. So it will keep it going as long as I've got movement on it. And apparently if I press this, it tells you the power reserve. So it's supposed to reach the bottom, and that tells you it's full. So it seems to be fairly full, I think. Or is that? I don't know. Like I say, I haven't read the manual or anything, that could be empty. So I'm going to have to read the manual and then have a look on how to use the GMT functions, how to set everything. So it was just fresh out of the box so far. So I'll do a more in-depth review of it later, possibly in a few more days. I did say on one of my other videos of the Monster about the strap. I probably will change the strap. It is a nice strap, but I don't know if you can see the amount of dust it's collected. And this it just picks it up so easily. I mean, this one is the same. When I first got it, it attracts dust like anything, but after a while, whatever they've put on it to protect it sort of wears off, and then it doesn't attract so much dust. But I will change the strap, I think. This is 24mm, so this strap is not going to fit. So I'm not sure what I'll do. I've got a few other straps which would fit this, but no rubber ones, I think. And I did say in the other video that I don't like these ridges where all the dirt and grime will get in and all the sweat will go into there, and they're so hard to clean. I don't know why they just didn't make a straightforward strap. So I'll look into that later. I'm sorry, the watch keeps going out of shot because I should be looking through the viewfinder, but I'm not. So I will I'll get back to you in, well, a few seconds with the video, but in a few days in real time, and then I'll tell you how I'm getting on with the watch. Okay, so it's been 2 weeks now since I first started making the video. Well, actually more than 2 weeks. I've been wearing it for 2 weeks, and I have to say I've been really enjoying wearing it. It's a great watch. I'll go into a little bit more detail into the specs. So it's 48mm in diameter, which it seems quite big, but because of the lungs, the really short lungs, it wears quite small. From lung to lung, it's 55, I believe. It's 16mm in depth, and it has 24mm lung size, which is really good. You can get some really nice straps for it. Now I've put it on this vintage type ammo strap because I didn't like the original rubber one that it came with. Let me show it closer. You see I've still got all the, I haven't even used it, left all the labels and everything on it. I prefer to use this strap. I think it suits the watch quite well. Let me get it into focus, there we go. So it's got a anti-reflective sapphire crystal compared to most of the other Seikos, which I use. I'm not quite sure what crystal, but it's not sapphire crystal. I've forgotten its name now. Hazelite, something like that. Anyway, yeah, it's a great watch. The case is quite unusual. It looks like it's in 3 pieces. I'm not quite sure if it is. So you've got the case, and then it looks like you've got an inner case, and then you've got the back to it. Similar to what Bremont do, but Bremont actually, their cases are in 3 pieces. I think this isn't. It's just there for show. But it's nice the way you can look inside. I don't think these screws are holding anything in. I'm sure if I try to take them off, there'd be nothing attached to them, but I'm not going to give that a go. So a close look at the dial. You've got 4 hands on it. So you've got the second hand, which is there. You can just see it's running. That's the minute hand. And then you've got the hour hand, and then you've got the second time zone hand, or people refer it to as a home time hand. And one of the things I do like about the dial layout, and one of the reasons I chose this one instead of just the normal white hands and white markings, is the hands match the indicators. So you've got the minute hands which match the bezel, and then you've got the greys to go with the hour, and then you've got the blue to match the 24-hour or GMT, second time zone, whatever you want to call it. So I think that's quite cool. One of the things I don't like about the second time zone is they're using a 24-hour indicator, so it goes around once every 24 hours. Now all the hands have got Lume on there, so all of the hands at night time will glow. So this is more of a skeleton hand, so you can see the difference between that one and that one. So the Lume's on the inner side of that, and that's on the outer side. So you can tell a difference. But the problem is when it's dark, you can't really tell what time it is in the second time zone unless you know where the hands are in relation to the dial, if that makes sense. So at the moment, you've got the second time zone pointing towards 8:25. So at night time, you don't know unless you know where the 8 is. So if this was at night, so the second time zone, and you were looking at night time, unless you knew the 8 was here, it looks like it's at what, 10 o'clock, which would have been a better way of doing it. Many years ago, I had a Breitling longitude, which had the similar sort of layout. It had a second hand, or a second hour hand, but it ran within the 12-hour dial. So for instance, now if you look at this, says 1:25. So if they did it the same way, where that would run just once round, similar to that one, you could straight away look at it and look and say, okay, that's 10:25. I hope that makes sense, but it does to me anyway. I think that would have been a better way of doing it, and it would have been an easier way, so you could just look at it instead of bearing down, and also you wouldn't have to have the inner hour hands, and then it would have sort of uncluttered it a bit. Not that it's too cluttered. I do quite like the fact that they haven't put too many things on the dial. So you've just got the Seiko, the little logo there, Kinetic, and diver 200 meters. So it's 200 meters dive resistant. So it runs the Seiko 5M85 Kinetic movement. So it runs on a battery, but it uses kinetic movement to charge up the battery. You've got the two little what would you call them, screw down crowns, and the top one, which I've just unscrewed, relates to the power reserve. So when you press it, it will go around, and that would indicate how much power reserve you've got. So if you've got, on a full charge, it would have gone to the 30. So that represents 6 months worth of charge. At the moment, it stopped at the 20 from where it was. So that means it's got a month's charge. And then if it's 10 seconds, that represents 7 days. And then if it was at the 5, it would represent a 1 day charge left. So that's quite a good way of doing it. Whether or not you need to have a power indicator on there, I don't think it's necessary. If it's 6 months, if it can last 6 months, I mean, just pick it up and give it a bit of a shake and it'll be fine. So if you just, I'll just wait till the 30 and press it again. So you see it's gone to the 20. So then that would have been a full charge. That's 1 month. 7 days, and then that would be 1 day. You've got some people who don't like the fact that it's a quartz movement. I quite like the fact that it's a quartz movement, other than a normal automatic, because you've got such a long power reserve, which is great. So you can take it off and put it down for 6 months, and you know it'll still be going. So that's quite a good thing, other than a normal Seiko, which would probably run out of power in 2 days or so. One of the other things I don't like about it, the bezel, has a very plasticky look to it and feel to it. So I'm not quite sure what it's made of, but it does have quite a plasticky feel to it. I don't know if I can have that changed. Then again, I don't know if I want it changed, but it'd be quite nice to have the silver bezel, but then I would lose the yellow markings, so it kind of would lose a bit of the watch. And the other thing is, I hate, you see, you've got to, it's very stiff, and the shroud that they've put on, is it necessary? I don't know. Is it more of a gimmicky thing than anything else? Because when you want to turn it, you are really, I did say earlier, you've got to put a lot of pressure on it, because you're only catching half the bezel, because half your finger is actually on the shroud, so you don't get a really good grip. What this would be like with a wetsuit on, I have no idea. I don't know if it'd be quite easy to use or not. Let me try and get it back into focus. I hope that's in focus. But that's one of the things I don't like about it. I know a lot of the new Seikos, they're using this shroud. I know on the new Monster, they've also got the shroud on there as well. Now to use the, you unscrew, they use a 24-hour and set the time. You unscrew it, you pull it out once, and you can set the hour hands, which is a really good way of setting the hour hand, so you can still see the minute hand still running, so you're not affecting the time. So for instance, if you're using it as a travel watch and you've landed somewhere which is 5 hours behind, so you just can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you're set, you're done. So you can leave that on your hometown, so that would be staying where you were. So like for me, it'd be the UK, and then you can just adjust it that way. And this also adjusts the date, so you go around, and that's how you adjust the date. And it goes backward as well. If you pull it out once more, I can get my finger in there. There we go. And that will adjust the seconds, and it will also move the other hand. So you just set it to whatever time. So basically what you do, you set that hand first. So for, like I said, I'm in the UK, so the time was somewhere around here, wasn't it? Oops. And then you can move it around to wherever else you want it to. Actually, that's wrong, isn't it? It's in the afternoon. So let me put it right. There we go. So it's there. So that's 1:25-ish. Let's say 1:25 in the UK. So you've got them set both at the same time. But I tend to use this one as my home, and then that one as my other time zone. That's the way I use it. I just find that a more convenient way of doing it, because I don't see the point of having both of them set at the same time when you're in the UK. I just use that as whatever the second time zone is. On wrist, it fits really well. I think that's down to the fact that the lungs are really short, so it doesn't overhang a lot. And it's quite tall, but it's nothing too bad. I've had other watches which are more than 16mm, and they're just too tall. It does dig into my wrist a bit, the crown. You can probably just see I do get some marks there, but I wear my watch quite tight, so that's something it doesn't really bother me anymore. I think that part of my wrist has got used to all the crowns that I've been digging in there, and I don't feel anything. See, again, focus, there we go. So the leather strap, I think it's a great fit for this watch. I don't know what it'll be like in the water. I'm looking for another rubber strap if I can get hold of one, so I might chop and change, but in the meantime I'll leave it on this and see how it goes. You can just see the hour markers are sort of raised, and it has this I think they call it Lume bright for that Seiko use, which the lume on this watch is fantastic. It does glow really bright when you charge it, but it does fade quite quickly, and then it just settles down to a sort of quite a normal-ish lume, and it will stay bright all night long. And I've never had any problems looking at it at like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. I can quite easily read the time. So that's one of the good things about the Seiko dive watches is the lume. I do like the way they have the raised hour markings. It looks quite cool. So there you have it, the Seiko GMT. Thank you for watching.